come in many forms, but you will be victorious when you realize that worship is warfare.
Adversaries are necessary because without them, you never really discover your purpose.
We've accepted what somebody told us we were in our past. So our past is sabotaging our ability to hear instruction.
We are not much unlike a battery. The negative is the thing that's needed to produce the power.
I empowered you to overcome everything you've overcome up to this present moment. I fixed you for what's going to happen after this. You were in the mind of God long before you were ever born.
You are not alone in your battle. God has your back because worship is warfare. Put these 4 messages in your arsenal today on CD or DVD. Equip yourself by visiting our website or by calling 1-800-591-8480.
It's now easier than ever to stay connected with David G. Evans and the Bethany Baptist Church family. Follow the ministry and rejoice in all that God is doing by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. On Facebook, you'll be up to date on the latest happenings, and you can watch our Sunday services on Facebook Live, 8 and 11 a.m. Eastern.
Here comes the power. Hallelujah.
Words of wisdom and encouragement can be found on Twitter, and you'll get up to the minute sermon points as they happen in our weekly worship services. Follow us on Instagram and be blessed by the inspirational and special moments that are highlighted each week, and meet the people who are the heart of our ministry. And if it's video you want, subscribe to the Bethany Baptist Church channel on YouTube. See the celebrations, the special events, and the many, many people who are helping to transform lives one at a time. Stay connected with David G. Evans on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and become a member of our broadcast family today.
What if you could make one decision to unleash everything great in your life? Would you do it? Would you say yes? Aren't you tired of your relationships, your health, and so much more suffering because you lack the truth you need to change? The life you desire is within your reach. You can achieve all the success, happiness, and prosperity you deserve by simply learning the secrets that lead to real personal transformation. Change is hard, but not impossible. You just have to make one radical decision to get real. And there's no better authority on the real steps to change than David G. Evans.
Some men trust in chariots. Some men trust in horses. But we will trust in the Lord.
David G. Evans is leading the charge to bring you the power to change your life. He is committed to the mission of helping you transform and become a person of power, and it starts with his all-new system to change your situation. At the centerpiece of this life-altering collection is David Evans' groundbreaking training course. From ridiculous to radical to real, this means war. In this series, you will discover the steps to change. This series includes 2 powerful messages, each on winning the battle in your mind and cultivating a language of faith. That's 4 messages, 4 power-filled hours of material. If you want a better marriage, this series has the answers. If you want to achieve financial independence God's way, the secrets in this series will empower you to make it happen. If you want a life of power, anointing, and influence, this series will show you how to get it, and there's more. You're looking for serious, immediate results. So Bishop Evans will also include one of his best-selling messages called Weapon of Warfare. This classic teaching will build you up to start fighting in the spirit for what you deserve. This powerhouse collection, from ridiculous to radical to real, and Weapon of Warfare, will give you all the biblical strategies you need to change anything in your life. This collection will ship to you immediately with your gift today to David G. Evans Ministries. This ministry is revolutionizing the kingdom by empowering believers. Souls are being saved daily, and we need your help to grow this impact in a real way. Call now and sow your seed of just $35 for your transformation to help people around the world. Your $35 love gift goes straight to the front lines of ministry, providing help to those that need it most. Call now. Make the decision to get the power you need to change your life forever.
Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on any smart device around the world at David G. Evans 1. That's at David G. Evans, the number 1. Our call-in numbers today are 866-743-8267. That's 866-743-8267, 866-743-8267, as we discuss faith, religion, politics, sports, major cultural impacts, but always from a kingdom perspective. Won't you please share right now, invite someone, tag 4 or 5 people, and allow them, give them the opportunity to share in the conversation, which we all believe is informative, inspirational, impacting for where you are right now and where you see yourself going forward. So let somebody know OnPointe is on, and you are absolutely into the number 1 Saturday morning Christian-based call and talk show in America. Of course, Pastor Nicholas Smith is here with us today as our co-host. What's happening, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Sometimes, you know how you don't like to be right about things?
Mm-hmm.
We've been sufficiently cautious about this viral thing coming back together, that all, keeping our circles tight, doing what we need to do. And I wanted to be wrong, but this Delta thing is now rocketing around the nation. And I was just telling Crystal, I was talking to one of my friends in Oklahoma yesterday, and he was saying that the decidedly red states, and then here's the problem, decidedly red states are where the spikes are the worst, where the deaths are the highest right now. He said they're underreporting it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not making a big deal out of it, but it's happening right now. He was telling me there are people in his own church that, were all anti-vaccine and all that, and then one of their major members, 50-some years old, caught it, and within a week he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
And now that death is making them question their point of view.
Mm-hmm.
But he was also telling me how the QAnon doctrine has invaded
Mm-hmm.
the Pentecostal church.
Mm-hmm.
To a point,
The white Pentecostal
the
church.
white Pentecostal church.
Reference.
To a point, I was trying to stay away from that for a minute. It's the white Pentecostal church, and how the evangelicals are in a stupor.
Yep.
The Bible refers to it, I believe, in either Acts or Romans, as them being asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing how the political church is getting so much attention that the church is being perceived as believing that doctrine.
Yeah. That side.
Yes.
Yes, that side, yeah. Well, they're the loudest.
Mm-hmm.
They shout the most.
Yes.
As relates to political stuff and
Right.
what they say.
Right.
The thing that just gets me about them
Mm-hmm.
is he talk all this trash about the vaccine being wrong, vaccine being
Yeah.
bad. But your president that you
You're
love
reading
so
my
much
mind.
got it.
I just got off
His
the phone
whole
talking
family
about this.
got it.
Yes, sir.
And all of a sudden, y'all still, he's writing everything else.
I can't get anybody to explain that to me.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, the guy that you thought didn't want you to get it,
Mm.
got it.
Yeah.
So to me, that would say it was okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
But they're still leaning on what he said wasn't okay.
Yes.
Here's my other problem. How you risking your life, how does that curry favor with a guy that's no longer in office? For you, if you're Joe Blow, working hard every day,
Yep.
how does having his favor or making myself believe that he would notice that if I didn't get vaccinated,
First off, he don't know you personally.
he doesn't care.
He doesn't care. Right. Like, come on, y'all. I mean, the cool thing, I looked at the map yesterday.
Yeah.
Like you said, the Delta variant is big down in those areas.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that we should be reckless up here, but PA's number 9 in vaccinations.
Okay.
New Jersey's very good. Maine is almost at herd immunity.
Okay.
They've reached the threshold of the amount of vaccinated people.
Okay.
So it's really not up here
Yeah.
as bad as it's down there. And this is my thing. people keep using faith to deny the science.
It's
But
ridiculous.
the science is telling us
Yeah.
that in the most vaccinated places, deaths are down, people catching it are down.
Yeah.
No vaccinations, everything's up. I mean, it just
Yet the problem is that the viral things, flu virus, chicken pox,
Yeah.
does not know boundaries.
Mhm.
So the problem is we've got some people that are really doing well,
Mhm.
got some people that are not performing well, and COVID does not make a
Yeah.
distinction.
Mhm.
It crosses state lines.
Yeah.
It travels on planes,
yeah.
buses, cars, and
Mhm.
trains too. So it's
Mhm.
we have to understand that in this case we may be the United States,
Mhm.
but the state lines
Mhm.
are not recognized
Mhm.
by this dilemma that we have right
Mhm.
now. So I'm talking to James yesterday, and he's telling me about how, this guy passed away that everybody respected,
Mhm.
but he was a no vaccine,
Yeah.
really red state guy. And now the people are having a conversation around,
Yeah.
maybe we need to rethink this.
Yeah.
The guy's dead,
Mhm.
and that's not enough to say, hold it.
Yeah.
We could be wrong about this.
Mhm.
Let's go, because why am I going to risk my life for somebody who doesn't know my name?
Right. Yeah. The science goes with it.
Yeah.
1 month, I think 18,000 people died of it. And out of the 18,000, 150 had the vaccine. But
Okay.
I think they had a lot of comorbidities.
Yeah.
But it still didn't take away from those, from that.
Mhm.
All we're trying to say is just God and science, because they're trying to preach this mess, that God and science don't go together.
That's
The
just
two
wrong.
they're not mutually exclusive.
No, they're not.
They go together.
Yes.
And the science proves that. Mumps, measles, chicken pox,
Mhm.
we all got vaccinated. Well, I didn't get vaccinated, but like my kids and, I'm sure your grandkids.
Make sure you clear that up, because people will think you mean not COVID.
What do you mean?
When you said I didn't get vaccinated.
I mean, I didn't get vaccinated for the chicken pox because
Okay.
it wasn't around when I was a kid, so I
Okay.
had chicken pox.
Okay.
Versus my kids now,
Mhm.
they're vaccinated for the chicken pox.
Okay.
And schools require that stuff.
Isn't that amazing?
So you let your child get vaccinated to go to school, but
It makes no sense. The reality is, we're going to have to reevaluate our own policy,
yeah,
because we've maintained the COVID policies here in our church.
yeah, absolutely.
We're going to have to decide whether those who have just decided they're not going to be vaccinated, that are working with us, whether they're going to be working with us or not, because this Delta piece is highly contagious, very deadly, and people are thinking because they haven't caught it in 12 months that they're not vulnerable to it. That's the exercise and the right diet will not keep you from catching COVID.
Right. Your odds may be better if you catch it, but there are a lot of healthy people.
Meaning not going to kill you.
They're not gonna kill you.
It will put you in the hospital.
Yeah, and there are some that were very healthy,
Mhm.
ran a lot, ate good. Some of them died.
Yeah.
Some of them went to the hospital. It
Yeah.
just you don't know how it's going to affect your
and
body.
and it's not really worth it to have that. I think with people, if people would just simply say, "I'm afraid to get it,"
Yeah.
that would make more sense than,
Right.
any other of these rationalizations. If you simply, it's like with dogs and cats. Most people say they don't like dogs or they don't like cats, when the reality is they're afraid of them.
Okay.
It's not that's why they don't like them, because they're afraid of them.
Okay.
So, but it's easier to say, I just don't like them. Well, no. If you're afraid of them, that would explain an irrational dislike. You got to have a reason for not liking a thing.
Yeah.
So with the vaccine, if you're afraid to get it, that makes more sense than, some global explanation for why you're not going to get it.
Absolutely.
And then I wonder, is there anybody that you're around that you care about? Anybody elderly that, even if they're vaccinated, if they catch COVID, it may put them over the edge.
Yeah, you never know.
I'm wondering if people care that much.
Yeah, I think there's a measure of caution, and I think for a lot of people, they're traveling, they're going out doing stuff, and, whatever. There's a guy I just saw. He's vaccinated. He just said he just got it. Mild symptoms.
Yeah.
You know, but his whole thing was, what if I got it
From the
without-
vaccine?
No, he was vaccinated and he caught COVID later on.
Okay.
And he's saying I has mild symptoms. You know, him and his wife were staying in, but his thing is, what would have happened to me
If he hadn't been
if I
vaccinated,
hadn't been vaccinated?
he might be dead.
Yeah.
I think that's and everybody has a right to their opinion. But like I'm going to be redundant. If you're afraid of it, say that, and stop making yourself look crazy with all these other explanations.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're just afraid of it, just say that.
Yeah.
But at that time, you can't be upset when people have a rational response. I don't need to be around you
Yeah.
because you could bring this into my life.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Okay.
You know, I'm still wearing my mask when I go places.
Doc, and I'm not seeing many.
Yeah.
I had to go to the store to pick up a prescription yesterday. And when I tell you, workers, customers, 98% of them were unmasked.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not thinking about them.
No.
It's not an assault on my constitutional rights for me to wear one.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
Yeah, you're not mandating something that's take away my freedom of speech.
Yeah.
You know, I can still talk with the mask.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so and my freedom of expression, you know, which is not boiling down to a mask.
Yeah.
It's just, you know,
People think you're crazy. Like, my niece had a graduation party, graduation from high school. It was outside. I went to the barbecue outside, had my mask on outside the whole entire time.
absolutely.
Well, didn't you get your shot? Yes, but I don't know where y'all was at.
Nope,
I keep-
nope.
I mean, and most of them are vaccinated. But I was like,
It's weird. You got some people that are not wearing them at work. But they say they're being cautious.
yeah,
You cannot. People don't look like they have COVID. They don't look.
Right.
You can. You know, it's not some C on their forehead that says this person is ill.
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't. Yeah,
So let's talk about the Mount Laurel man for a minute.
yeah,
And I can't talk about the Mount Laurel man without mentioning the fact that on the tape I saw some people that I know are supposed to be people of faith acting the fool.
okay,
I think you can protest, but you don't have to MF people and call them a bunch of sexual objects and all that kind of stuff if you are born again. So I'm wondering what happens to people when they, for a moment, they're willing to sell out everything that they are to express something.
we're living in a different cultural standard.
Okay. God has a different standard?
A cultural standard.
Okay.
From
Okay.
the world standpoint.
Okay.
You know, so the rage is considered justified to some people,
I get rage.
but the expression of the rage
Right.
is. But I still think you can do this in a very godly way, like you said, in a very appropriate way.
You can fight the good fight of faith. That's different.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
But you know, I find that the reason I believe that the municipality involved is ramping up their response is because the lack of response is the focus
yeah,
of things right now.
yeah,
They've been tolerating this stuff for years, which says a whole lot about certain residents in their community that they haven't really cared about.
absolutely, because I could be wrong. I want to be wrong, but I highly doubt all those police officers would have protected
Yeah.
all those other black people in there like that, like they did him, because they were right around there.
Wouldn't have done it.
It wouldn't have been the same thing.
Guys spray painting people's cars.
Yeah, and it took you this long to finally do something when it became an inconvenience for the township.
That's right.
That's all of a sudden you got to start
Yep.
making some moves. Like,
Yep.
come on, y'all.
Unbelievable. How do you feel about the fact that they brought the other half of that condo down this quickly? If
That's
there
the
was any
weird thing.
chance of
Yeah.
anybody surviving on the other side,
Yeah.
I think they wiped that out.
Yeah, that's the. I don't know if it was a rush move just to kind of get it out the way, because they're saying they're afraid it was going to fall anyway, so they wanted to do it.
I don't believe the storm would have knocked it down. It might have, but I just, if there was hope beneath the rubble,
Yeah.
and we've seen all kinds of miracles happen, where it just falls in the right place. You're in the right spot.
Yeah.
You got air. You're waiting for people to get to you. You're hungry. You can't go anywhere, but you're waiting people to get to you.
Yeah,
Now you blow the other half of the building.
yeah.
Where's the hope in that?
Mm-hmm. They probably just said, most of the people are probably, deceased.
They
by now,
assumed
and just.
I
It's
don't,
been what,
I
2
don't-
weeks?
I don't know. Yeah, man.
Is it 2 weeks?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I don't get it. What's happened to these Moorish guys?
All right. Here's the interesting thing to me.
Go ahead.
I don't live in Massachusetts,
Yeah.
and they do have you have to have a Massachusetts permit to carry a gun.
Right.
So apparently, I'm reading so what were they arrested for?
Okay.
So apparently, they were pulled over on the side of the road. The police saw them, these black men with a bunch of guns,
Okay.
and decided to come and approach them,
Okay.
and it turned into a standoff.
Okay.
All right. So they saw a bunch of black men with a bunch of guns and decided to pull over and see what was going on.
Okay.
I kind of wonder if the same thing was on the other side, because we've seen white militiamen
Yeah.
loaded up with their guns.
In crowds around the Capitol, nothing getting done.
And they weren't doing anything. They were just on the side of the road. They weren't threatening anybody. Now, I mean, they were wrong for running and doing all this stuff. I'm talking about the initiation of
Yeah.
this.
What are the gun laws in Massachusetts?
That you have to have a Massachusetts license to carry
Okay.
in there. So obviously they said they were on their way to Maine to do a training thing. So I don't know if they didn't have, they're getting them on carrying guns in Massachusetts without a Massachusetts license.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah, which I understand that part.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just wondering the initiation of the police riding by seeing a bunch of black men with guns, would they have done the same thing?
In Massachusetts, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'll-
Maybe.
Mhm.
I know both sides of people in Massachusetts. Maybe.
Yeah.
But the other piece is, I understand these young men say, we're here, we live here, but we don't have to follow your rules.
Yeah. That's what some
Now
of them
that's,
said.
now that's not going to work.
Yeah. And some of them came back and said, that's not really us. They had more
The ones I
extremists.
know are not like that. The ones I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not extremists like that, so.
They claim they were an outlaw group that doesn't recognize state laws.
Yeah. After
Well,
they arrested them and all that
Just
stuff.
because you're an outlaw group that doesn't recognize state laws does not mean the laws go away.
Yeah, they're still there. As they
Okay.
can see, they got arrested, yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about the fact that so many people are saying that an exception should be made for Sha'Carri Richardson and her dope smoking getting up to the Olympics?
If you make an exception for one,
Yep.
you got to make an exception for everybody else.
And a lot of people, and maybe people haven't been keeping up with the news, but a lot of female athletes have been denied the Olympics because they tested too high
Mhm.
for testosterone.
Yeah.
Some of them are saying it was from the food they're eating.
Mhm.
Whatever the case is, the Olympic Committee is saying no. If your testosterone level is too high,
Mhm.
you can't go.
Yeah.
So you make an exception for marijuana, and the young lady came out and said, "I knew what I was doing.
Mhm.
I knew it was wrong. This is the way." But I don't think if marijuana is your go-to,
Mhm.
that it's your first time.
Oh, no.
So that made me wonder what LSU was overlooking because of her
Oh,
talent.
I'm sure a lot of them were smoking weed. I mean,
Yeah.
and we had the conversation last night. No matter what, the United States can completely say marijuana's legal.
Right.
The Olympic Committee is not the United
No.
States. It's an international
Yeah, it's different.
group of people.
It's different.
They can legalize all they want.
They're
over here.
not going to start making exceptions for dope. They're
No.
not going to do it.
No.
And I don't think they should.
I don't think they either. It's,
I mean, we were nowhere near Olympic level athletes.
Yeah.
But there was no alcohol, no nothing during the season, or we get suspended.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and again, like we said last week, we're not trying to be insensitive to, the reason why she did it.
Yeah.
In the sense of,
It's valid.
It's
I
valid.
mean,
You know-
her reason, her motivation was her motivation.
yes. And everybody has, it's easy to say what you wouldn't do unless you're in that person's
Yeah,
situation.
absolutely.
And all of us have been in a very precarious situation where certain thoughts ran through our mind.
Yeah, but I didn't do it.
But we didn't do it.
Right.
But the thoughts of things that aren't godly run
Because
through your mind.
normally when you're in a situation where there's great value, you balance your action against the great value.
Yeah. And so we get it. It just doesn't take away from the fact that she was wrong. She did it.
And you can't, when a mistake is made, you can't scream for a change in the rules.
Yeah.
If you're worried about the rules, you got to be worried about them before you mess up.
Absolutely. And it's like, come on, y'all. We're boycotting because her smoking weed has nothing to do with racism.
No.
If she was white, they would have did it. Asian, they would have did it.
They're knocking, the Olympic Committee is knocking people off the probability of going to the Olympics all over the world.
Absolutely. It just is.
And
what
it ain't just
is.
black folk.
No. But we're a generation of screaming. We're loud when we're wrong and quiet to apologize.
Amazing, isn't it?
I mean, completely. It will go off and then see we're wrong and won't say nothing.
My goodness. So Texas Church has a camp. 125 kids and adults are infected with COVID.
It just went up to 160.
So it's 160 now.
Yeah, 400 people were at this campsite.
And 160 of them have COVID now.
Yep. And then that's not counting who they took it home to.
All because they're one of those churches we don't give vaccine. We're not.
They didn't say that part. They just said they had a big coming together.
It's Pastor Nick. I wanted to be wrong, but I think we're right. It's too fast.
Yeah,
And it's only fast because we have not done what we needed to do on the front end.
Yeah.
You know, we could be way out of the woods. You know, but first the administration that was in office acted as though the thing wasn't real.
Yep.
You know, it's going to go away. It's not coming here. It's like, you know, like he had some kind of sixth sense to let it, you know, to figure out what was going to happen.
Yep.
Then it got here and we were in denial about it. And we had a leader that was still trying to say, you don't have anything to worry about. And then his own people started getting sick, and they were still in denial about it.
Yeah.
That's what blew my mind. Half the White House had it.
Yeah.
And they were still talking about
It's not that big of a deal.
It's not that big of a deal.
We all can survive. The
Yeah.
question is, do you want to survive through certain things? Like that's the whole premise of it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, when the vaccine wasn't available, understood. But now that it is available, you have an option, you know,
Yeah.
to have it a different way,
Yeah.
experience life a different way. It's a lot of feeling, emotion, no common sense. And when you hear your pastor from the pulpit preach this mess.
What amazes me that not only has it gone through white Pentecostalism, but the Word of Faith movement has been invaded by this thing. I mean, you got major Word of Faith guys supporting this no vaccine, you know, prophets in the Pentecostal side talking about, you know, August is when we're going to have a new president. I mean, but QAnon came to their senses and backed off that, but now they got a new doctrine now.
Yeah.
You know, now their doctrine is we want you guys to run for office in school boards and local elections so we can infiltrate.
I mean, a lot of them, I got faith.
Yeah.
But I also believe that when what's his name tried to blow and speak COVID away, it's still here. There's some things you can't.
Has anybody said anything to him about that?
People have been saying stuff, but he's stuck in his, you know.
What it didn't happen. I mean, he did it on international TV.
Yes.
And you know, he's
Command
commanding
you to be gone.
Yeah, and it increased after he was done.
Literally,
But the guys aren't saying anything about it.
No. I believe God, but come on, y'all. Really?
I was, this is a switching subject, but I think it's the same principle. We got Danny on line one. We're coming, Danny. Was talking to one of the Southern Baptist guys yesterday. Matter of fact, I talked to 3 Southern Baptist guys this week.
Okay.
And there is a great reluctance to publicly say anything negative about it. And I think some of that has to do, one guy in particular I know that I'm very close to, some of that has to do with not wanting to get involved in the politics of it, but at the same time, not wanting to impede what they do for a ministry. I get it. But it's they're acknowledging that there's a big problem, but they just, you know, may not. The one guy I know does not want to be on record as saying anything.
Yeah. I mean, you got to count your costs and.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
There comes a line, though.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Pastor Nick. I remember when the same pastor I'm talking about, a bunch of pastors called me from Pennsylvania, told me to persuade him to come over to another party. And I had about a half an hour conversation with him. And at the end, right midway through, I said, let me ask you a question. And if you can answer this question, I'll call him as soon as I hang up with you. Do you have what he's been given to replace what you're asking him to give up? Well, sometimes, you know, you just get, no. Do you have the multi-millions of dollars to give him that you want me to ask him to give up? And the answer was, of course,
Of
no.
course no. Of course no. Of course not. And the other thing too, I hate to say it, sometimes in order to change an organization, you have to actually be in the organization.
Yeah, but you have to be willing to
You have to
speak
be willing
up.
to speak up and say what you got to say.
Now, a couple guys I know did speak up,
Yeah.
and they ended up having to have FBI follow their family to protect them for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, a couple of the black guys did speak up, and you know they put threats and stuff out.
Yeah.
You know, because, and the thing that got me was that Southern Baptists didn't aggressively oppose
Oh, of course not.
the people that were threatening these guys.
I know the biggest African American guy, Dwight McKissick.
Yep.
He speaks out a lot.
Okay.
But I think because of who he is in Southern Baptist, he has such influence.
Okay.
They leave him alone for the most part because he's got some juice.
Okay.
So he's decided to stay, but he said that if this new guy didn't get elected and they elected the old guy that was going to keep it the old way, he was going to leave.
I think that the election is not going to change the culture. So I think McKissick, the one I know, is that the one you're talking
He's a big guy, tall.
about? Okay.
He's down in somewhere.
The just like in a lot of organizations, black or white, no matter what you give influences what position you have. So I don't think that the election of a guy that appears to be more liberal is going to change the culture that lies underneath, because all the other leaders are still in place. So you got a president who might have liberal ideas, but if all the people under him, it's like having all McConnells under you, and you're a Democratic president. All we're going to do is try to block everything.
Yeah. Yeah. They're supposed to be bringing some new blood in, but we'll see what happens. The people, that movement is strong, and the people are strong.
Yeah.
So I mean, but the people did elect him.
Okay.
So there is a group of people that are.
But it wasn't like a landslide or anything.
No, it was close.
It was close.
It was close.
So that means half the culture is still in your
So,
mindset.
Yeah, it's close.
All right, let's go to Danny. Hey, Danny, how you doing?
Good morning, Bishop. How you doing, Pastor
Hey,
Nick,
man.
staff?
Please,
How's everyone today?
please excuse waiting for a moment. We got caught up in a discussion.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind.
What's happening in Florida, man? You all still raining down there? What are you doing?
You know what, Bishop? The storm went in a different direction totally.
Really?
And all of the rain that we had for the rainy season, because every day for the last month prior to the storm coming our way, we had rain each day.
Okay.
But I think out of the total, we had rain maybe 2 days, but nothing, significant or anything like that.
So the whole thing about the storm blowing in and all that was overblown?
It went west of us, so
Okay.
it went out into the Gulf.
So you got rain.
Yeah, we got a little rain, but nothing, like the wind and what have you.
What's the opinion on the ground down there about them bringing down that building and they hadn't unearthed or discovered or accounted for over 100 some people? What's the opinion on the ground down there?
Well, if you remember last week, I brought up the question as to what were they going to do,
Right.
because of the fact that they had a decision as to the construction of the buildings and all of the rules, regulations, and laws, and no one was really monitoring it and seeing exactly what's going on.
You're not thinking they got rid of the evidence by bringing the buildings down?
There you go, Bishop.
Oh, wow.
There you go, Bishop.
Wow.
I don't know how you're going to investigate
You can't.
and
You can't.
find out what happened after you destroyed all of the evidence.
Wow.
And the thing that's really hurting and that it's going to have an after effect is that they're taking the debris from there and they're moving it to North Miami-Dade.
For what reason?
Well, they said they want to have it there so they can examine it at that particular location. In the process, what they're finding out, they're monitoring air quality and seeing what's happening. Now they're finding out that the air quality all over Miami-Dade and everywhere else is going down, and the material that's in the air It's spreading.
So, if they move everything, you're talking about contaminating DNA even further.
Exactly.
So, the science probably won't be able to identify even those that are deceased.
That is correct. And also, the situation, if you go back to 9/11, the workers and also people within the New York City area started coming up with cancer and all these other inflammatory diseases
Yeah.
because of the air quality.
Wow. Do our technicians know our screen is blank? So the air quality from the debris that came off the destruction of the building, but also the caving in of the building has gotten into the air around in the county.
Right. Plus the transportation of the material from point A to point B.
So what is
You
it?
have to
What
go
is
out on
what
the
is
highways
what is in
going
the
from-
what is in the material that's so contaminated?
They have a lot of material that was being used, and they were examining it to see exactly what material was actually used.
Okay,
in
so
the
they
construction of
so
the
they're
building.
thinking maybe some illegal stuff was used in the composition of the building.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And then during that time, something that may have been allowed is not allowed to be used or manufactured now.
Okay, so it's like because the building's like 40 years old, right? Wow.
So let's take it for example, drywall.
Okay.
Certain drywall that was used then, you can't use now.
Yeah. Unbelievable. So
And
you know
it's-
now we up here we were under the impression you guys were in a big storm.
Well, it went to North Florida.
So it went to North Florida.
Yeah, when it turned in north, like the Florida, Georgia, Florida, Alabama area.
So you're talking about Jacksonville, Florida,
Exactly.
up that way.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So southern Florida, like Orlando and all those places, Naples, they didn't get it.
Yeah, and the further north you go, the more rain they had in that particular area of Florida.
Okay. Wow. So the storm never hit. What's the name of it? Surf City? It never hit Surf City?
Oh, Surfside.
Surfside?
No. If God forbid, if they would have anything with the surge or anything like that with the tide coming in and what have you, then that would have been another problem.
Wasn't the reason that they knocked it down because they thought the storm was going to hit it?
Well, they used that as an excuse.
Oh my!
But the fact still remains is that you have the city, the county, the state laws that's in question now. How were they able to do this type of construction,
Right.
these type of things, and nobody gave it any thought?
Okay.
And then you look at it from the extent that parking was allowed to be underground.
Okay.
So if you have an underground parking, basically your building is on stilts.
That's true.
So now if it's on the stilts and you have the water table,
It's not
and the water
stable.
coming
It
in
can't
from
be
storms,
stable. Can't be stable.
Yes.
Well, Danny, thank you, man. We got to get Tom on the phone and Jay on the phone, man.
Okay, I just want to say congratulations to you, Bishop, for your 31 years.
Thank you, man.
And we really appreciate you.
Yeah, it's coming up quickly. I'm telling you, man.
Yes. And you'll be hearing from us.
Thank you so much.
All right, Bishop.
Tell my
Be blessed.
sister I said hello.
We'll do.
Bye bye. Tom, is that you?
Yeah, I am.
Good morning. How you doing, man? Hello? Tom, are you there? Looks like we got a bad connection.
It's probably it sounds like it sells out of
All right. Tom, call me back, man.
get a place better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jay, how you doing, man?
Good morning, Bishop. Good morning, Pastor Nick.
Hey.
How are you?
Doing good, man. Welcome to OnPointe once again.
Yes, sir. Three things,
Okay.
very briefly. Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yes, sir.
How did it become a black and white thing?
I don't know. Marijuana doesn't have a color.
I just, I got all sorts of petitions and things in my email. Oh, it's a race. It had nothing to do with race.
No, she smoked dope.
Acknowledge she was wrong.
She said she was wrong.
It's funny that, and I hate to say this about her, we don't want the rules to apply to us.
Absolutely.
And when we violate the rules, it becomes a race issue.
But we want them to apply to other people now. You can't leave that part out.
Yeah, if it was somebody else, they wouldn't be petitioning, boycotting.
Well, with what's the young lady who runs the 200 that's Italian? Can't remember her name right now. Jenna Prandini. Okay. If she had got caught,
no, they wouldn't have.
No, none of us would be protesting that she got kicked out because
they wasn't protesting Michael Phelps. But and people that false narrative. Well, what about Phelps? Phelps was after the Olympics, and he got suspended for 90 days.
Yes, after the Olympics.
Come on, y'all.
Come on now.
It was just. I mean, I got bombarded.
Did you?
With petitions. MoveOn.org. Some other ones. It's a racial thing. It's a black and white thing. Let's get rid of these outdated rules. And
they're not outdated. I was telling Pastor Nick earlier, I don't know if you were listening, and we were nowhere near Olympic level. I mean, a couple of us went to trials, the wrestling thing I went to, but our track and all, we didn't go there. But even for our state meets and our conference meets, we weren't allowed any kind of substance. No alcohol, no beer, no wine, no marijuana, nothing.
Right.
And if you did, you lost your medals, you lost your trophies, it was, and we were nowhere near where these people are.
No, it's.
But you can't want the rules to change just because you broke them.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Come on.
That's right.
They riding this whole Black Lives Matter thing, which I'm cool with the slogan.
Yeah, but it ain't
got nothing to do with
this. It ain't got nothing to do with this.
They don't like black women. No, she smoked weed. Come on.
It's about as relevant as our governor saying if you're teaching math, you got to have LGBT included in the curriculum.
In a math curriculum?
All classes must include. What does trigonometry have to do with LGBT? Right. Come on, man. Come on.
And it's great. And I know a young lady on the LSU team. She's a graduate of Girard College, and she weighed in. She said it was wrong.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I asked Pastor Nick earlier. Everyone has a stress go-to, and I don't believe. It made me question from a collegiate point of view, having not only been a graduate of college, but a trustee at a university, responsible and chairman of the trustee board of a university. It made me wonder what LSU had been tolerating her behavior before that time.
I'm sure all this weed stuff, man. It's
right.
They probably let them get away with drinking, smoking weed, doing all that stuff.
And because they let football players get away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And the reason a lot of them get in trouble when they get to the pros is that they don't correct their behavior from college, which hasn't been corrected from high school.
That's true.
What was your second point, man?
The building. So, I know there's some question as whether they should have brought it down. And I had the opportunity about a week ago, a little bit before the 4th of July, to listen to a forensic demolitions expert.
Okay.
Kind of discuss. He said, even bringing the building down, that doesn't mean the evidence isn't there, because they have the tool. And he cited examples. There was a hotel in Kansas City back in the 80s. The Skyway Bridge collapsed, and even in the debris, the evidence is there.
Okay.
So they were able to, pinpoint who was at fault, the materials, where they came from, because they catalog all this stuff. They know where these chemicals come from and the concrete mixes and who's doing it. They're taking samples, so they know. And there was an issue of if there had been an uncontrolled fall of the building, if the storm had hit, it didn't, but if the storm had hit and the building had come down wrong, their other lives could have been at risk.
Okay,
so
I get that part. But my question is the bodies that are buried underneath the rubble. My question is that they had people unaccounted for, and we've seen miraculous survivals in just as bad situations?
True, we have. I'm not saying that we have.
Absolutely.
But I think the reality at 14, 15 days, however long it's been, could there be? I mean, most of these people were seniors for the most part who are missing. Some young people.
I mean, it's possible. I think it is possible, but I think the picking up all the debris and taking it away is going to make it even harder to identify the people that were buried underneath.
Yeah.
You know,
it's kind of a mixed bag on that. I looked at it and said, should they bring it down? Probably they should. But it doesn't absolve anyone from liability, because there's a lot of liability to go along.
and maybe it's my pastoral side. I'm always thinking bodies versus bucks. I'm always thinking people first.
As you should.
Yeah, yeah.
We hope that.
You know, people over profit.
Vaccinations.
Yeah.
When are people? You know, I had the opportunity over the last 3 weeks to just travel.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, took a few road trips, went down to New Orleans, Florida, St. Louis.
You drove down there?
Kansas City.
God.
Yeah, he not getting on the plane.
I wouldn't blame you, but Jesus.
I don't fly anyway.
Oh, really?
No, not anymore. I was on a plane where the window broke and a woman got sucked out. You will never catch me on a plane.
Really?
And I used to jump out of planes. So, yeah, I'll never, ever be back.
You were on a plane when that happened?
I was on the plane coming into Philadelphia, Southwest Airlines flight, and there was something blue, and the window cracked. Now, she didn't actually get sucked. She got sucked through the window, and they were able to pull her back in, but she passed away. And I said, well, I'm done.
Because those windows aren't human-sized.
Yeah, no.
She got pulled in.
Jeez.
And the gentlemen who were near her pulled her back in, but she had already broken her neck and suffered some respiratory issues and passed away.
How long ago was this, Jay?
This was 3 years ago.
Why didn't I hear about this?
I never heard that.
Yeah.
Never
Oh, yeah, it was a Southwest flight coming into Philadelphia.
I might have heard about a cracked window, but I didn't hear about the fatality attached to it.
Oh, yeah. So I'll never fly again.
I like window seats too, but
I
always get the window.
give me the aisle, but nevertheless,
right.
man, that's close to the window. I reevaluate here.
In a helicopter crash in Afghanistan when I was in the military.
Okay.
And I had stopped flying, and for a very long time, and had really just started flying, and then that happened. I said, well, you ain't got to tell me twice.
Well, you know what, Jay? Grace of God has been on your life something fierce, hasn't it?
Listen, I have been
helicopter crash?
Blessed. Oh, yes.
People don't walk away from those, Jay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they don't. They don't. There were 7 of us, and we all survived.
Wow.
But
that's because that was a Pauline thing. That's because you were on the craft.
Yeah, I stopped flying. But to say this,
sorry,
back to vaccination. Why don't people want to learn? I was at a family event the 4th of July, and I told, listen, if you're not vaccinated, don't come.
That's right.
Don't come. And those people who weren't vaccinated, they respected, and they didn't come. And they were like, man, well, why? I said, because I want to have a good time.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And I've had a great time. I beat all my nieces and nephews in the potato sack race.
Okay.
And
I haven't heard that in a while.
No, that's nice.
Potato sack race.
They challenged me. Yeah, they challenged me. I'm 45 years old. They're all 17, 18.
They don't have any potato sack skills, man.
You need strength, stamina, and all that.
The fix was in.
Yeah. These kids don't grow up doing that.
Come on, man.
We grew up doing that stuff.
And you know that what's that other one we used to do when they tied your leg together and you had the three-legged race? Yeah, man. These kids are to dislocate their hips if they try to do that.
My sisters and brothers, when we get together, and there's certainly a lot of us. There were 16 of us with all their kids, and we had a great time. And this is what we do when we do family gatherings. And we told people, if you're not vaccinated, don't come.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even one of my sisters was like, well, I said, no, don't come.
That's right.
If you're not going to be responsible, not even for the other people around you.
Be mature enough to stay from around us.
And there were plenty of people, when I was in my travels, there were plenty of people who still wore masks, who were, even in tight New Orleans, there were people wearing masks and social distancing and being responsible. They knew they weren't vaccinated. All right, if I'm still going to be out, but why not just get vaccinated and let's move beyond all of this?
Because it's not like you're going to catch a cold. This thing could kill you. And maybe because we've had to bury and oversee the process of so many people having passed away who were related to members of our church. Not members of our church, but related to members of our church. This thing is very, very real. And I know people that are not vaccinated that think they develop some kind of vulnerability in the system that they have. There's eating right, drinking a lot of water, and getting enough sleep will not keep you from catching COVID.
It's just, people cry, well, we don't know what's in the vaccine. And I heard a comedian say, I don't know what's in Fruit Loops, but I still got this.
That was Chris Rock. He's like, I don't know what's in aspirin. Still take it.
Take them all the time, don't we?
All the time.
We don't know what's actually in the vitamins that we take, but we take them.
Exactly.
Man, we got to go, man.
Yes, sir.
Talk to you soon here. Stay strong. Bye-bye. Hey, man, you're back.
Yeah. How you doing, Bishop?
All right.
Pastor.
Hey.
This thing with this building, the mayor actually floated and told people that they were floating, bringing that thing down, but the storm gave them the excuse. They weren't hiding behind it.
Okay.
They kind of, and they were trying to bring the building down away from where these bodies were still maybe at. And I know it was a tough decision. I didn't agree with it. I had a lot of friends here where I couldn't believe they were bringing it down.
Yeah.
But and I heard Cole say something earlier about pylons. Most of the buildings, when I first came to Florida about 8 years ago, I was able to get with a firm that hiring people, but I got to go out and see what was going on with construction. And most of these buildings, high-rises, are on pylons, and they have to drill down sometime 200 feet to put these things in the bedrock.
Yeah, to find a rock beneath, yeah.
And something else I didn't understand, which I know about now because I worked in the industry for a minute. When they talk about material, because, when you see a sidewalk out there, it's some kind of concrete. That's not the same thing they put in buildings. It's a very much harder, tougher concrete. The rebar they use, and when they're talking about looking at that stuff, they're talking about looking at the tensile strength on these things if they got cheap and put lesser materials in.
Yeah. And I think that what's going to happen, some people like the inspectors and those people that approve, and certain relationships and why certain people were able to build and others weren't, I think a lot of that's going to come out in the investigation. Because I understand that, a lot of what happens in a lot of towns depends on your relationship with the present administration, especially where builders are concerned. And, in Florida, I understand that, anytime you have to drill down before you start building, and your opponent is water, it's compromised. It's compromised from the beginning.
Yeah. Water and coral. The name of the towns here: Coral Reef, Coral Ridge.
Yeah.
Southern Florida is full of coral, and at one time it was Everglades, so it's constantly being drained.
Yeah. And water always returns.
Oh yeah. One of the quickie. When it comes to these lawsuits, the lawsuits are coming out of the woodworks.
Are they?
Oh, yeah. 3 days in, there were people talking about they're going to sue. Well, we have this guy, one of the news guys down here is pretty good on explaining what's going on. He goes, the only problem is most of these condos may have a $5 to $10 million insurance policy.
How? How's that legal? Aren't you supposed to get a policy that can, justify the loss of the building, the contents?
One thing is they were saying that
per unit,
that the condos, you're suing yourself when you're suing. I mean, and whenever that money is, whatever insurance they do have is used up, there's no one else to sue. I mean, there are going to be some scapegoats. They may go after some people in office who overlook something.
Yeah.
There's no deep pockets there. And lawsuits coming out the woodworks. It's like 20, 30 lawsuits out already.
So people are getting in line first.
Yeah, get that first.
Yeah, they're in line first.
On
Yeah.
that contract.
Yeah. Wow.
And one other thing, Sha'Carri Richards.
Yeah.
I see her, I see this stuff on Facebook, and I'm Pastor Nick, I'm so glad what you said. It ain't a black-white thing.
No.
I mean, it's an international thing, and she messed up.
And I think if people were aware of the list of people that were disqualified in the last month because of a variety of illegalities, a lot of them things they had ingested, food, testosterone. I mean, the list is not just Sha'Carri. People broke the substance rules, and the rules are there for everybody. And more than her, if you don't know about the process, you think she's being picked on. Well, no, she's not being picked on.
Yeah,
and if she lost the race and came in like 9th place,
they wouldn't be talking
about this. Like, come on, y'all. Like,
the other thing is too, I hear people say, it's illegal. I mean, it's illegal in this country. It's not legal in this country. It's legal in certain states.
Yeah.
It's still against federal law. And we're still talking Olympics, which are international.
So Pastor Nick said
people would understand that.
Yeah, it's not the same thing. You can have it legal in your hometown, but it's not legal for the Olympics. And I don't think that should be altered, because once you start that, other people are going to think, well, my reason was valid too.
Yep.
The athlete can say that they were sick and wanted to recover faster, so they took the steroid. So, I mean, there'd be a ton of reasons. I just don't think it's a good thing, and I don't think it has anything to do with who she is. But she said, this is what blows my mind.
Yeah,
she said,
wrong.
I knew what I was doing. I knew it was wrong. So at that moment, she decided to gamble her Olympic future with this. And now they're saying, well, put her on the relay team. That's not how this works.
Yep.
If the first 3 people are chosen, the 4th fastest person is chosen for the relay. Either pull Allison Felix or somebody is going to fill it in. If one of those people can't do the 100, then the next fastest person in the 100 goes. So if the top person gets knocked off, then the next 4 people qualify.
Yeah.
So she blew her 100-meter race, and she blew her relay race. So that's just the rules, man. Athletes understand this.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to go, man.
Hey, you guys have a great day.
You too now. Bye-bye. Who do we have last? Welcome to OnPointe.
Good morning.
Hi.
How are you?
Doing all right. Who's calling? We don't have a screen today.
Yeah.
Okay,
I text y'all about it.
Sharon from Dallas.
Hey, how you doing?
Claiming my time.
How you doing?
Bishop,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm blessed. Listen, 2 things. 1, what about the situation in Haiti? And 2, just found out that no vaccine has gone to Haiti and any of those poor countries in Africa, and the president is saying that they have all this free vaccine going to countries. So what do you think about that?
Well, I didn't hear about the vaccines not going to Haiti. I heard about them not going to someplace. But what caused me some concern with the Haiti assassination, is that what you're talking about?
Right, correct.
What caused me some concern about the Haiti assassination is this. Number one, that they caught him so fast and killed him so fast, which means to me there is some other governmental implications to this. And I thought it was pretty wise that they got the First Lady out of the country.
Right.
got her out very quickly. She's over here now. I'm sure she's going to be guarded very heavily because they're going to want to hear what she has to say about the attempt.
And they said the people that came in were speaking Spanish.
Yep.
So somebody did something.
And
we got 2 from America that was in it.
that means there had to be cooperation there in Haiti with that to happen. There's no way it could happen without cooperation on the ground in Haiti. So, so the fact that they caught him so fast, quote unquote, caught him and killed him is wiping out the connections to the people. It's a Godfather thing.
Oh, okay. What do you think about the vaccine? But they did say it too, that they have no vaccine. Not 1 ounce of vaccine has gone to those people over there.
Well, what I'll do is I'll call a couple of my politicians and find out why. I'll call a couple of politicians to find out if that in fact is true, and then why. Because if we're throwing it, if we're throwing it away, why not let somebody use it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially our people too over there.
Yeah, and we got folk that don't want it too. So.
Right. Okay.
Good talking to you, girl.
Good talking to you all. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. So, tomorrow's Sunday, and today is Saturday, and we got good weather, Pastor
Yes,
Nick.
sir. Finally.
So 11:30, our drive-in service will happen today. We want to invite everybody to come join us here at 1115 Gibbsboro Road in Lindenwold, New Jersey. Drive over. Service starts about 11:30. No, at 11:30, not about. Service starts at 11:30. We want you can start to arrive at whatever time you desire before that. We'll have a great time today. We're going to continue in the prayer confession. Tomorrow morning, of course, we have 8 a.m. encounter worship. 9:45 to 10:45 is our Engage Live.
Yep.
11 o'clock in the morning is another encounter worship experience. And our 10 times better conversation and message and teaching at 6 p.m. tomorrow. So we've got a full day. You can spend all day with us. Email your prayer request to social@gotobethany.com. That's social@gotobethany.com. Subscribe to us at David G. Evans 1 and BBC of NJ on YouTube so you won't miss a thing we're doing. And I want you to subscribe to our podcast platforms, DGEMS, that's DGEMS, and OnPointe, those 2 podcast platforms. As always, for Pastor Nicholas Smith, I'm Bishop David G. Evans. Remember, faith acts like a thing is so, even when it's not so, that it might be so. God bless you, and see you next time on OnPointe.